Alrighty. This Epstein thing isn't going away, and it shouldn't go away until those who are guilty are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and actual law, not like what they did to Diddy, and just kind of like, oh, it's all right. He doesn't really get charged with all this stuff. He's just going to get charged with this other stuff, and having Comey's daughter there to circumvent the law. Hooray! So this mainly came from.
It's like the saying goes, man. If you can buy your way out of a problem, you don't have a problem. And Diddy has enough money to buy his way out of this. And that's fucking...
Or maybe he just has more pull and juice than Epstein did.
Well, that, and there's enough others involved with enough incentive to sweep it under the rug that they will...
Brush it under, huh?
Just to gloss it over, and that's...
Yeah, so anyway,
very much like the Epstein...
The Epstein thing. It is goddamn ridiculous for anybody in the government to say that there's nothing, there's no tape, there's no proof, there's no nothing. Then why is Wetchdigger in jail for trafficking nobody to nobody? And I can't even be sure that she's in jail.
Ghislaine?
Yeah.
I don't know where she is at the present.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if...
So as an American citizen who follows the rules, I want these fuckers brought to justice. Now, whether that's from the end of a rope or in a firing squad or their heads on pikes, I don't really give a fuck. It just needs to be done. And why is this allowed to go on? Seriously. I mean, if you're going to have rules, then you got to follow those rules. Or is it, just a two-tiered system doesn't work?
That's the thing, is that there are those out there, people of influence.
Well, that influence needs to die. And their affluence... They're fucking inbred pony fuckers.
They go around like the rules don't apply to them and that they're above the law. I mean, I've seen the things on like cat houses in Nevada, and they talk about the clientele they have, and a lot of them are cops, married.
We're not getting into a moral dimension.
No, but it's...
All right, I don't want to get into a moral dimension because that's a whole other bag of worms.
Well, the whole thing is a moral dimension.
In a sense, I'm just
the shit that they were doing. Oh my
absolutely,
God!
Absolutely, but what I'm saying
is the most immoral shit that you can imagine.
But what I'm saying is that from a law perspective,
and from a legal standpoint,
standpoint, that's where I'm going at. Of course, it's wrong. It's not correct. Da 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 da. But if they're trying to sweep it under the rug like it's okay, what?
No, they just want to drag. Just keep.
They think the American public is stupid, and the world is stupid, because I've been hearing stuff from podcasters all over the world about this shit.
Yeah, no, Americans are not as stupid as all that.
As the government thinks they are.
We're ignorant.
Nah,
we are. We're some of the most ignorant people in the world. Not you and me necessarily, and not all of us. But in general, Americans are some of the most ignorant people in the world, and that is by design.
Yes.
Because an ignorant mass is much easier to control than an educated, informed mass. And that's why our school systems have been systematically dumbed down and compromised and
eviscerated, yeah.
Because they're counting on us just to not know anything. I mean, really.
But what they've done wrong is they've tried to fuck us over economically. So if you take the food and the money out of their pocket, then they're going to get pissed off. But you inbred pony fuckers don't realize that. You think, oh, it'll be all right. We'll just give them government subsidies, government cheese. They can eat that. Fuck off.
And you keep dangling Kim Kardashian's ass in front of everybody and distracting us with trivial bullshit.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. So we just we'll stay complacent and not stand up to them.
Right.
And they got us, fighting amongst each other, blaming each other for the problems that they caused.
Yeah.
So, that they perpetuate.
Yeah.
And one of them is the fucking Epstein thing.
Yeah.
For real. And it's because there's just so many, I think, seriously, elected officials and other influential people who would show up on that list, and they got a whole lot.
It's better for them to
lose if
blackmail.
If that shit gets out. So they would rather none of it get out than to have their names dragged through the mud and have to pay the piper and
Well,
and own that they were involved in that shit.
time to pay the piper is coming real quick, kids. I don't know what political bullshit.
The time to pay the piper is long past.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with this shit.
This shit is like it and for them to keep those files sealed and not let it out that it.
They think it's going to be all right, like what they did with JFK and Martin Luther and Malcolm X. Really?
And see, the thing is, too, is that, information like that should be kept out of the public as long as there's an ongoing investigation. But it seems to me that there's not that going on. He did not commit suicide. And keeping those files out of the hands of anyone who could do anything with them, there's a whole lot out there that have an incentive to just like the Diddy thing, sweep it under the rug and let it just go away. But it's not going away.
Good.
It keeps coming back around, and it should, because it's fucked up, and everybody knows it. And the only people who can do anything about it
won't do it,
doing nothing.
Yeah,
just like everything else in our fucking current political landscape and government. Where they
for how long though? For how long has that been going on? This didn't just happen.
Forever, man.
There we go. I just don't want it to be like, well,
no.
Because let me tell you, fucking.
No, and it's getting worse because, 50, 60, 100 years ago, they could keep all that shit quiet and keep their secrets and keep the skeletons in their closets because of the way the world was in those days. The backdoor deals and the things that, you didn't know anything about. And today, with all of the modern technology,
and that's great.
Things are getting out, and people are getting hip to it, which is one of the reasons that they call themselves woke, is because they're waking up to this shit that's been going on all along.
And that's bullshit. And woke has been subverted by the fucking power elite.
Absolutely, it has. But as it was when it was first coined, and when they were first, what it meant was they were waking up to all the bullshit that's been going on all along that we've been asleep to all these years.
Hold on, sweetheart. For those of us who
been perverted.
For those of us who've never been asleep, we're just like looking at our watch, like where the fuck is everybody else? Yeah, and finally, you're getting here. I'm not saying you personally, but you know what I mean.
No, but people are catching up to it.
Yeah,
out there. And
okay, well maybe, golly,
and with the way cell phones are hacked and text messages are surfacing about shit that people didn't want to let out to the public. You can't say or do anything publicly without it hitting it. The World Wide Web or wherever. Immediately. Yeah. That's what happened with the George Floyd thing. Somebody got that recorded and posted it online immediately. And everybody rushed to judgment about it and based on what they saw. And if you had the Epstein files in front of you, people would lose their shit.
Really?
And be like, ooh, string them all up.
Yeah.
And
hang them high.
And, how many times have you heard lock them up, lock her up, do this, do that? On what charge? What did they do legally that they could be charged with that you could lock them up for?
Well, you can't charge Hillary for being a lizard person. That's who she is. But I'm sure she's done stuff.
Well, yeah, because
there've been plenty of people that have suicided.
And because there's no legislation about being a lizard person, so
right?
It's not. You have to have a specific statute that you
can't be a lizard person and hold office,
right?
Or be in the government,
and that you have to have a specific something on the books that you are in violation of, and if they cannot prove that, then they got no case.
See, this proves that Eric's a Democrat because he thinks that a rule in a book, a law, that's going to make it better. It won't.
No, but anyway, that's how the legal system works.
Yeah.
It has to be, you are in violation of statute number, this, that, the other.
Well, that'd be a hell of a thing if I would vote for that person for president if they brought that legislation up. you cannot be a lizard person in the government. That would be great.
That should be one of the amendments,
right?
It should be like all the other restrictions they have on government officials.
Yeah. Well, except for being in the stock market, shit like that.
Oh no, that doesn't count.
We're chasing page boys around. It's whatever.
No. They just scapegoated Martha Stewart for that.
Fucking right. What the fuck?
Right,
yeah. What the fuck? Leave Martha Stewart alone.
And how many of them out there? I mean,
yeah.
Worth multi-millions of dollars on $180,000 a year salary.
Yeah.
And they're not supposed to be like receiving outside income or whatever,
yeah.
Unless some legitimate thing that they had before they were elected, like what do you call it? God damn it, book like royalties, things like that.
Yeah.
If you're an actor and you still receive royalties from the work you did before you were elected, that's different. But if you go and try to do something that will earn you royalties while you're in office, oh no, that's not supposed to be okay. But it seems to me they're doing it all the time.
So I guess we need to be pushing for lizard people legislation. Right?
And that's the thing is that, these are the people who write and maintain the laws we live by. They're the legislative branch of our government.
Well, at least we know why Matt Gaetz wasn't in the DOJ, because he would just right through the whole thing, didn't give a fuck, and that's why they got rid of him. That's why they honeypotted him.
Yeah, because he was at a party with a naked 16-year-old girl or some shit that he just happened to be there.
It was a honeypot. It totally was. I've deep dived into that too.
And
so, tell us what you think. Are we right?
What do you think about the whole Epstein thing? Is it ever going to be resolved, or is it just going to be one?
Are they going to get away with it,
or is it going to be just another one of those unsolved mysteries?
Yeah.
Because 50 years from now, everybody who is involved in it will be dead and won't be able to go after them to prosecute anyway.
Have molted into a new skin, so
it'll be just another fucking urban legend, conspiracy theory, bullshit. Well,
there have been a lot of conspiracy theories that we've been right on. I'm just saying.
No, just because
and that term was coined by the CIA, the fucking Dallas brothers, so that anybody couldn't ask questions. Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. So
because those
you don't want people thinking
those things are there's got to be a reason people believe it, especially if you look into some of these conspiracies and you see that there is something behind it. Maybe some of them who are pursuing it are way off base, but there's still something there.
Yeah.
I mean,
alrighty. Like, share, subscribe.